trauma here, we're now seeing the joint open up. We're seeing the curve should be 145 degrees, and that curve's coming back, and that number should be 0. The top of the neck should be over the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's less than half a millimeter. When we look at the front portion of this, there's the first one, and there's, wow. Okay, now this is based on 180 degrees, so that's a 5, 2, and 5 degree or 12 degree buckling of the spine down to less than 1.
Mm-hmm.
So we have first one, second, third, second, first. And you can see the whole body's here and the head's there.
Mm-hmm.
So going through this, it also looks like your neck is taller. It's not really taller.
Mm-hmm.
You just went from standing from here to here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take still film or movie?
No, video.
Oh, okay, good. Video's easier.
Yeah.
Ow. There's you in an accident. Now let's look at the low back. Low back, when we're looking at this, is a 5 degree, and this rounds up to a 6 degree bend or an 11 degree buckling, down to just 3 degrees. So we have first, second, third.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now what I'm going to do is we got to show this hip before and now. Now what you're going to start to see is, and this is going to be odd, but this right here, this little feather thing,
Mm-hmm.
it looks less prominent. And the reason is this feather thing isn't a bone spur. This is hardening of the capsule around the hip joint.
I see.
So when you have damage to the hip joint, because the hip joint should be perfectly round,
Mm-hmm.
it takes 3 to 5 years to see a bone change on an x-ray. And when you see this, you're looking at least an 8 to 10 year problem.
Right.
Okay, so when we start to see it go away, that means that the hip joint is more flexible and the matrix of the hip joint. So we're moving that hip around more, you're getting more mobility of it. So the body needs less stability and more mobility.
Mm-hmm.
What you're also going to see, and here I'm going to try and blow this up to where it's not too the same height and not blurry. You're going to see less inflammation here, which is good because less whitening. But this is
So
excellent.
white is inflammation?
White is generally inflammation, or it could be the bone en face or like direct.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see like or whitening here,
Mm-hmm.
that's just looking at the bone right on edge.
Mm-hmm.
If you see white in a joint, like this joint here,
Yeah,
that's the sacroiliac joint. Typically that's going to be inflammation.
I see.
Okay, and this one here, if it's all fuzzy, that could be inflammation, or it could be en face.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that we're going to start to see is the matrix, where it looks like moth-eaten holes.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start to see those go away.
Mm.
Because by straining that bone, straining through adjustments, straining through the exercises, and you've been working your butt off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's beautiful. And there's 3 things that can happen with an X-ray.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it can get worse, it could get better, there could be no change. Now when we look at this, and then we've got before, this is you bending over, so you're putting increased pressure on that, right?
Right.
This is putting less pressure on that. So now I'm going to look at the difference between this less pressure, where you can start to see a curve coming around. The more pressure, it looks like it's more compressed. The neutral, which looks like we can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's because of we're looking through this bone here and through the backbone there.
Right.
So when you're in a neutral position, it's just rocking the pelvis in a position.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really that the bone flattened out, it's just that it's being covered. So now the neutral position is showing a little bit better. So, I mean, you're getting correction in, 4 to 4 films. This one here, I was surprised to see that this bony lesion is starting to look less prominent. It's fantastic. I mean, everything you're doing is effective. You're essentially reversing a really yucky damage. Okay, this is cool. Okay, now the top score is the very first one you came in. The bottom one is the current one. This is the average of these 3 tests. 77 down to 66, and this could be just acute and acute stressor. Now you're back up to 77. When we look at this, you went from 55 up to 74, and what that is the heart rate variability. And we have the automatic nervous system composed of 2 parts: sympathetic, which means fight or flight; parasympathetic, which is rest, digest, and repair. So the body can be in a stressed and protective state or growth and repair state. Now we need these balanced, we need them high functioning. Everyone should be in a green zone. Hon, you are right here. You are almost balanced. And so that means that the body is getting more of a symmetrical view, more of an accurate view of the planet. And so now we just got to get this up here. And that could be physical, chemical, emotional stress, you know. Then when we look over here, second highest score yet. And this, the 90 or above is normal or is good for all of these. 95 or above is excellent. And so you went up to 75, and this is the surface electromyography or the muscle activity on either side of the spine. Now we're causing a lot of inflammation. We're putting the body through a lot of stress. So we could be a contributing factor in this. And when you scale back on the, you know, the 3 adjustments a day, you're going to see the skyrocket. Because we're seeing, I mean, nearly 100% correction in the rib cage area. We're seeing about a 50% correction in the low, or a 60% correction in the low back. So this is amazing that you're showing an increase, even though we're pushing it so much. This one is going to go, yeah, this one's going to go up and down on all over the place. We want to see it because this is the rolling thermoscan or your state of metabolism. The body is going to be breaking down tissue and building it up, breaking it down and building it up. And so a low number is not better than a high number, but we want to see it in a range. We want to see it between 70 and 90, 70 and 90, 70 and 90. Because the body's always going to be breaking stuff down and building it up. And so this is excellent. Everything you're doing is right on.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, hon,
Then what's the
well, if you were living here, it kind of goes, because structurally, on the integrity of the spine, I could be scaling it down to once to twice a week. And the once a week if you didn't have a lot of symptoms in the hip. Twice a week if you did have a lot of symptoms. But I don't know if that'd be appropriate for you. Okay.
Well, I'm already kind of excused from work.
I
so
know.
well.
Well, I'm just telling you, like, if you were here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I
like in an ideal world.
Well, ideally, we would be maintaining the 3 adjustments a day. Okay, until we get a better change. Okay, and that, because if you were living locally, even at 2 adjustments a week or 3 adjustments a week to get you out of pain, I'm still going to give you a no-charge set of x-rays after 30 adjustments and no-charge set of x-rays after 60. I'm going to give you 4 scans over the next adjusting series. Because I do that if you were living here too. Because I don't know if changing the adjustments, you know, seeing you less would be appropriate for your stress level. So this way, I'm going to give the test to monitor it. So she gets 2 sets of x-rays, 4 scans, and man, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're doing amazing.
The hip is still like I still can't reach, you know, that. So that's hip mostly, right?
The hip flexibility is going to be the last thing to return.
Like always? Like I cannot restore it?
No. That's the last thing to be restored.
Oh, I see.
It's like pain level, walking, standing, because we're separating that joint. Walking is going to be better because you're going to have more range of motion. But to bring it to the end of the motion is going to be, that's the last thing to return. Because the hip socket itself is distorted and the ball is distorted. Normally it's a ball and socket where it fits in there, but your hip is distorted and so is the socket. So there's limited motion there, and they did that. The body did that to stabilize a very unstable segment. So it's an adaptive physiologic response.
Okay, so right now I'm just continuing to do what I'm doing. Does it make any sense to maybe add some flexibility exercises,
Absolutely.
gym and stuff?
Absolutely, hun.
Because
Push
yoga.
Push it whatever you want, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Because now that we've got the joint gapped, I want you to push it. That's why I
Okay.
know you think I'm stretching your hip with you face down so you won't punch me, and that's partially true. Because hun, I mean, I'm really running that to the end.
No, please do
And
it.
then
Yeah.
I know it's better to ask forgiveness and permission, because
Yeah.
I bring it up to the end range, then I drop it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to force
Yeah.
extra range of motion in there. And then I'm doing it in the worst position. I'm going backwards with the toughest part of the joint. Okay, going forwards is the easiest part.
Right.
Okay, so
right.
I'm really pushing that thing at 10 ways to Sunday. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Also, I'm sore at the neck all the time.
are you doing the neck curve exercise?
Yes.
When you're doing it, can I give you a suggestion?
Sure.
Okay, don't go back. Go up. Think of like a turtle coming out,
Oh, I
stretching
see.
this part,
Mhm.
and then that's not going to have an issue. Going back will.
Okay.
So if you go up, you're not going to have an issue at all.
Okay. And I started to get a lot more headaches, probably just because of that. You know, all this stress in the neck. Yeah.
Here, let
I
me
have
see.
all the headaches kind of in the back of my head.
Okay, if they're on the back of the head,
Yeah.
I would check to see. Yeah, because the back of the head typically means that there may be an anterior C1. Mention it to Dr. Iden if he's adjusting you, because there may be
Which
an
one?
irritant. Dr. Iden, he's the guy that usually
Right,
adjusts
right.
you.
I know Dr. Iden, but to mention what?
That you have been getting headaches in the back of the head, because there may be a subtle change. Instead of pushing this way, he may have to push this way or this way.
Oh, I
Because
see.
I always check you, and typically you're anterior on one side, and that's an unusual finding. And I check you every time.
Okay.
And sometimes it's assumed by the doctor that you may have the same pattern as before, but I just get into the habit of checking people every time.
Right.
And so if he's pushing it, I mean, it's really different. I mean, this line of drive to this line of drive, it doesn't seem like much, but it can be the difference between having that
Okay.
pressure and not having the pressure.
Okay, I see. Going forward, so I'm gonna be here until September 20th.
Oh, cool.
And then after
So
this, what do you recommend
Think
with
this, what we
package?
could do,
Right.
because you're doing like 3 a day.
Yes,
If you did 1 to 2 adjustments a day,
yes.
and then did the rest go into like yoga, where you're
Yeah.
stretching it up, or the gym, and
Yeah, that's
just
what I was
push it.
thinking. Yeah.
push it as much as you can.
Okay.
We got a hot yoga place, which I hate, okay, but it's over on Adams.
Oh no, I love it. Yeah, and I go to
Everybody
bath.
else does. I hate it. It's
I
like
love-
sweaty and sticky and gross. And
No, I go to bath.
I know.
Korean bath.
I know. You're gonna be. There's a good Korean
Imperial
bath.
Palace.
Yeah, Imperial Spa.
I've been going there every other day.
Okay, yeah.
I'm doing like everything possible.
Yeah, so this
but-
thing, just stretch the living heck out of it. Okay, and we'll keep adjusting it.
Okay, then after I go back to San Francisco, what do you think should be
You-
the recommended pattern?
You know what people typically do
What?
if they go far away? Is they'll come out here for a few days a quarter or a week a quarter. So every 90 days they'll come out for
Okay.
3-4 days. We'll get 10 to 12
Okay.
adjustments, and then that not only maintains it, but it gets more of a correction.
Okay.
And then it's
Sounds
like
good.
now, I'm going to give you the post X-rays and scans too, so that'll make it easier too.
And then we'll know more at your next post X-ray.
Oh, absolutely. Because right now we're looking at 60 adjustments. Okay, we're looking at 3 X-rays. Yeah, this way it's going to help us. We're going to have more data.
Okay.
Any other questions?
There will be, but not right now.
I really think I got a 4th sister.
I think